Welcome, dear students. Here we are again going to begin with the previous part of the lesson from our textbook in English for class 9, that is My Childhood. And what is the name of our textbook? Behind. And here the text we have studied partially is all about our former president and the great scientist Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And here he tells us about his childhood. And here you can see on your screen, dear students, firstly we studied about the scientists like Dr. Kalam. Even Albert Einstein had contributed in politics as a statesman. And then we know that we here are learning about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose projects in space, defense, and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, and he also became our 11th president in 2002. And we can see here that he was born into a middle class Tamil family, that is Tamil Nadu. A town is Rameshwaram, that time Madras state, but today Tamil Nadu. His father's name was Jainul Abdin. I will just tell you the highlights so that you will come to know. I won't go much in depth because we are already done with this part. And his mother's name was Asiyama, how they were, what qualities he inherited, how his house was that time, all of these things we have studied. But one important thing here where you can see, dear students, that he told that his childhood was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. So why he said so and how his childhood was so secure materially and emotionally, we have studied it. And he also gave her some examples from his childhood, some instances that it was the time that the World War II was started, and so there was a great demand for tamarind seed, and he could earn money out of it working for a day. He could simply earn a anna, one anna. It means an old Indian coin worth about 6 paise. We have discussed about it yesterday. Then during that time, it was a situation like an emergency period, and so it affected even Rameshwaram, though it was a remote place and it had nothing to do with the world war. And what was the first impact? That the halt between Rameshwar and Dhanushkodi was cancelled. It was suspended, and the train that had a halt there was not taking a halt and was moving. And so the newspapers that were brought in that train by that train were thrown out in a running train. And so here, dear students, as you know that his law Jalaluddin used to tell him all the stories happening in the World War II, and Dr. Kalam used to find out those headlines in Dinamani. And there another instance that his cousin, what is the name? Samsuddin, used to bring those papers from the railway station and was distributing door to door. And here Dr. Kalam got an opportunity to help him. And of course, he was being paid for that. And then an 8-year-old child started working and helping his parents by distributing the newspapers and collecting from the railway station. You know how the papers, the newspapers or the bundles were thrown out in a running train. And he reminds and remembers it forever that even after a century, he still remembers and feels the surge of pride in earning his own money for the first time. And then, he again told us about his parents and the qualities he had inherited. And at last, that we studied about him, that he told us about his friends. Who were his three friends? Ramananda Shastri, then Arvindan, and Shiv Prakashan.
Shiva Prakashan.
So what about, yes, what about Ramananda Shastri? He was the son of Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of that Rameshwaram temple. And what happened to him in future? He took over and took the charge of priesthood only of the Rameshwaram temple after his father. Then what happened in future to Arvindan? There you can see on the next page that Arvindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims. And the third friend, Shiv Prakashan, became a catering contractor for the Southern Railway. And dear students, one very important incident Dr. Kalam mentioned here about, new teacher that was appointed, he was appointed there in his school and was trying to differentiate them as Hindu and Muslim. But Dr. Kalam and his parents never believed in religion. They thought that goodness, not just God, some will say God, some will say Allah, some will say Ishwar, Parmeshwar, there are different names. But they all believe that He is one, even if they or people call Him differently. And so, they never hesitate to tell the stories from Ramayana, even being Muslim. And even Dr. Kalam's father, or grandmother, mother, they were used to telling the stories from Ramayana, prophet, and even Lakshmana Shastri also used to tell his son Ramananda Shastri some stories from prophet. And that way, it was a great bond between them. And so that new teacher could not separate them from each other, and how they felt sad for that. And finally, that teacher was only taught a lesson that he should not do like that, differentiating and spoiling the innocent minds of the students that he is Muslim and he is Hindu, and that way they did not tolerate. And so here you can see, dear students, if you have your textbook open on page number 71, that it is mentioned that how they both went to home and told the story, and then Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher and told him that either he should apologize or quit the school and also the island, is that place Rameshwaram. But what happened finally? That teacher realized that it was his fault, and it happened because of what he was taught right from his childhood. And so the friendship between Ramananda Shastri and Dr. Kalam became more stronger. That bond became more stronger. And here you can see in the picture, dear students. Are you able to see on your screen how a teacher is teaching and they are all sitting and learning all together? Even most of them are from Hindu Orthodox Brahmin family, but even Dr. Kalam is sitting between them and studying. That is unity in diversity that can be seen everywhere in our nation, India. Right, dear students, are you getting it well?
Yeah.
Do comment in between, respond well, right?
Yes, sir.
Any query? I have just repeated the things we have learned right from the beginning in this lesson. Okay? 10 minutes has been passed, but I think it must have helped you to revise it and understand it again, right? So let's see now what happened next. Another incident. This is now page number 72, paragraph number 8. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher, Siva Subramania, Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. And here another incident of another teacher. He was a science teacher and his name was Siva Subramania Iyer. And he was also a Brahmin teacher, but a very conservative wife he had. How and why he has been called a conservative wife, we will come to know in the next para. But he was a very good person who had contributed a lot in order to, minimize or curtail the segregation of different social groups. That this is a area of Hindu, this is an area of Muslim, and all that kind of segregation was there of different social groups. But he was the one who was trying to connect all of them together. And here, being himself a Brahmin person or a teacher, his favorite student was a Muslim child, Dr. Kamal. And he always used to encourage and motivate him, saying that Dr. Kalam, not Dr. that time, just Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big city. And those people, those who have not learned these things in their lives, they only try to mislead the people in the name of casteism and religion. Those who are highly educated, even they don't ever ask about somebody's caste or religion. No, never. Because they are not least bothered about it. They have nothing to do with that. And that's what here Dr. Kalam was motivated in his childhood by his science teacher, Q. Subramania Iyer. Let's see now why his wife was called a conservative. Okay. So this is paragraph number 9. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiv Subramania Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hand and sat down beside me to eat his meal. And dear students, his wife has been called as a conservative wife. You know why? Because she used to hate people from other communities. She herself was telling that she is really pure and the others are impure. She is the only one who is a very ritual and other ones are not. And that mindset made her a very conservative. And when Dr. Kalam, when he was just a child, was invited by that science teacher, Mr. Siva Subramania Iyer, she was shocked, she was surprised that a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen, in my ritually pure kitchen. She was really surprised. And she refused to serve Dr. Kalam as a child in her kitchen. But Shiv Subramaniam Iyer, neither he got angry with her. Instead, he simply served Dr. Kalam, a child, a student, with his own hand and sat down beside him to eat his meal. And that way he was trying to teach a lesson not only to Dr. Kalam but also his wife that we should never think of such boundaries that will separate us from one person to another in the name of sacred or ritual or religions or the caste. No, we are all equal. We are all human beings. And that's what he wanted to teach. Did he learn or not? That we will come to know. But Dr. Kalam realized that his teacher, Mr. Iyer, a science teacher, really loved him very much. And when we realize, dear students, that somebody, has faith in me or in us, we never try to, betray them or cheat them. And it's of course for his own sake that Dr. Kalam really deserved his love. How? Let's see. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. And Dr. Kalam noticed that she is there looking at them behind the kitchen door. He noticed, but he couldn't say anything. Neither she said anything because her husband, Mr. Iyer, was there, sitting with him, serving him food, and they were all, both Dr. Kalam, a child, and also Mr. Iyer, were both having food together. And Mr. Iyer's wife, Mrs. Iyer, was watching them. And here Dr. Kalam wonders that if she had noticed something or observed any difference, the way I ate rice, or the way I drank water, or cleaned the floor after that. And dear students, as we people or Hindu people, they eat with their hand, with their mouth, if it is rice. The Muslim boy will also eat the same way. What's the difference? No. We have also a mouth, and the Muslim boy has also a mouth. But why he was making any difference? That's why Dr. Kalam said that he wondered. The way he was drinking water, that way only Mr. Iyer, his science teacher, was drinking water. The way he cleaned the floor after meal, if there was something left or fallen while eating, he cleaned it as Mr. Iyer did. And so he wonders that there is no difference. But if she notices, if she observes any, what's it? There must be nothing. And so how it affected and impacted her in her nature, let's see, that we will see here in this para only. Do you find any difference, dear students, the way you are eating and the way other people from other communities eat? Yes? Dear students, please comment.
No.
Hmm? Respond. Don't be just quiet listening to me. You are also there to say something, no? It's an interactive session. And there you can see. Of course, there is no difference, no? Right? What about
Yes,
Surbhi? What do you say? Surbhi, what's your opinion? Are you getting me, dear Surbhi?
Yes, sir.
Do you find any difference between yourself and other children from other communities? The way
No,
you
sir.
eat, the way you drink, the way you do the thing? No,
No.
there is no difference. And so here Dr. Kalam says that he was little surprised. He was wondered if she could notice or if she could observe any difference. But we all know that she must not have observed any differences because they were all equal and they were similarly in the same way eating food, they were drinking water and also cleaning the floor after their meal. Okay then, how she could change herself? Let's see. When I was leaving his house, Shiv Subramania Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. And again, Shiv Subramania Iyer, his science teacher, invited him that day only that he should be back again in the next weekend. And observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. And he hesitated. No, sir, this was enough. He was trying to find some reasons or the excuses in order to avoid coming back to his home because he did not like himself that Mr. Iyer's wife, Mrs. Iyer, was not able to serve, and she even not liked that Dr. Kalam was there in her spiritual or ritual pure kitchen. And so he hesitated But here, Shiv Subramaniam Manya Iyer's intention, he told that once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. And such problems will be there for sure, even in future also. But if you go away and if you change your mindset, nobody will change. So if you want that somebody should change, you please continue. And there, Dr. Kalam, as a student, had to obey his teacher, and next time he visited his house, then what was his experience? Let's see. When I visited his house the next week, Shiv Subramania Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. And this is a change, dear students, Dr. Kalam brought in her with the help of his science teacher, Shiv Subramania Iyer. And what was the change? A woman who did not like him to even enter her kitchen and have food, this time she herself took him inside her kitchen and served him food with her own hands. That was a change he could bring in her. And that was a change Shiv Subramania Iyer could bring with the help of Dr. Kalam in his wife. Isn't it, dear students? So it's very important to understand, dear students, here that if you want to bring a change in the world, start from yourself. You know, charity begins at home, it is said. In the same way, whatever change, dear students, you want to make in our society, in our home, in our school, in our nation, in our state, start from you first. And the world is there to follow you. You know, it is said that दुनिया झुकती है मगर झुकाने वाला चाहिए, isn't it? But it needs tremendous efforts, tolerance, persistence. There are many qualities like hard work required, right? Do you agree, dear students, with me?
Yes, sir.
Very good. And even you know that it is said in Marathi, अन्याय करणारापेक्षा अन्याय सहन करणारा जास्त गुन्हेगार असतो. And I will add one more sentence that अन्याय होताना बघणारा त्यापेक्षा जास्त गुन्हेगार असतो. It means that, you know, when a person tolerates any injustice, it may be, you know, he is helpless and he can't do anything, and so he tolerates it. But the doer of the injustice who does it, maybe purposely, you know, troubling the other, but the person who is just a spectator there, he doesn't know anything, but neither he is helpless. He can interrupt between them and find the solution that neither the doer of the injustice should do or should continue it, nor the bearer of injustice should continue bearing, and that way the solution should be found. Anyway, so let's see here paragraph number 10. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. We know that he was born in pre-independence period, and it was also the Second World War started that time when he was just 8 years old in 1939. World War II ended, you know, after Hiroshima and Nagasaki were blasted with Little Boy and Fat Man by American army or those people. What happened then? India also got freedom, and Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhi. And after we got freedom, just two to 3 days ago, there was Gandhi Jayanti, and we studied about him briefly. And here one quote given by Dr. our Mahatma Gandhi, giving an instance by Dr. Kalam. He says that Gandhi declared that time Indians will build their own India. That is going on today, dear students. Atmanirbhar Bharat. You understood? This is the concept, Atmanirbhar Bharat. We should be self-reliant. We Indians should build our own India. Nobody else will come and build and help our nation. They are there just to rule us. But we should understand and we should realize that we are the citizens of India. We are the Indians. We should only build our nation. Nobody else will do that. And the whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism And when he declared that we people, Indians, should come and build our nation, there were hopes in all the people that yes, we can do. We have got freedom. If we can get our freedom back, we can do anything. And that was the confidence that the Indian people that time had gained. And so they were filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. And that time, after his education completed in his own town, Rameshwaram, Dr. Kalam wanted to move from there to some other place, and it was Ramanathapuram, the district headquarters. For further education, he wanted to go there. Then did he go? And did he succeed in his life? Yes, we all know that he became the great scientist whom we call Missile Man, and also who became the 11th President of India. We know him. And see here the incident that was described just a while before, that how Q. Subramania Iyer's wife took Dr. Kalam inside and served him with her own hands, and how happy she was, realizing herself that she was wrong and Mr. Iyer was right, and so Dr. Kalam. Then any incident? Let's see. This is 11 number paragraph, the end. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a rest, without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. And very important quote and very important paragraph here, students, that we can learn a good lesson from this, that what Dr. Kalam's father told him. What he told when Dr. Kalam asked that he wanted to go to the district headquarters, Ramanathapuram, for further education. Father agreed and told that, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. And he knows that if he stays there only in Rameshwaram, there are no opportunities. And so he can't grow. And it was very sure for him to go for further education in the district headquarters, Ramanathapuram. And he agreed. He wanted to send him, but while he was leaving, he told him one thing, very important. Does the seagull not fly across the sun, alone and without a nest? And he gave an example of a seagull, that a seagull has to fly all alone in order to succeed, in order to gain something in its life without a nest. What does Dr. Kalam's father want to say here? That it's now you that you are going. You know how to handle your own needs, necessities. We are there, but we may not be able to provide you everything, and you have to manage with what you have and gain what you want. It's up to you. You have now grown and can understand what are your necessities and what are not, what you are supposed to do and what not. And there, addressing Dr. Kalam's mother, Dr. Kalam's father told her a quote from Khalil Gibran. And what is it? Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. And here he said that the children, Dr. Kalam, his brother, his sister, they are not ours. They have come through us. They have come through you. Means he wanted to tell that we have given them the life, but they are not from us. We have just been a medium that they are born, but they have their own choice. They have their own life, and so let them live the way they want. And so in the end, he said and added that they come through you, but not from you. Try to understand, dear students, this. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. And here, we can't impose our thoughts on anybody. We can just love one, but we can't expect it in return. It's up to him or her. they should love or not. And here the parents are always loving their students or the children, but it's up to the children. Either they should return that love back to the parents or not. And of course, one cannot change one's thoughts until and unless one realizes himself or herself that he is right or wrong. You know, and that's what here Dr. Kalam's father tried to give him a lesson that Dr. Kalam, you should always listen to others but follow your own thoughts. Even if you are all alone, there are people who will always help you, but you should be a good person whom people would love much and help. Right, dear students? So that was a lesson Dr. Kalam shared with us from his childhood, and it was an extract from Wings of Fire, an autobiography. Okay, any queries, any doubts, dear students? Please let me know. Do you want me to repeat it again briefly? I think I have repeated, completely. Those who have joined late, for them, we will just ask some question and answers. I think the answers have already been shared with you, and I'm sure you have all written in the notebook. Am I right, dear students?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, any queries, any doubts?
No, sir.
So, there is an activity given. Find Dhanushkodi and Rameshwaram on the map. What languages do you think are spoken there? What languages do you think the author, his family, his friends, and his teachers spoke with one another? So can you see here the map of India, then map of Tamil Nadu, and there it is given to the right hand side of the page, highlighted in blue color, Dhanushkodi and Rameshwaram. So which area it is you have understood? What are the languages you think they are using there to speak each other, one another? Come on. Hurry up, dear students.
Tamil.
Yes, Tamil. The language spoken there is Tamil. It is a Tamil Nadu place, a state, and the language mostly spoken is Tamil. And also few people prefer to speak English also. Okay, and very rare people are there, they try and speak Hindi. Right, dear students? And these people from Rameshwaram, they must be speaking in Tamil only. And the Brahmins, they used to chant in Sanskrit language. But the communication, informal communication taking place in Rameshwaram town or in Tamil only. Right? Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now the next question we will discuss, though you have already written the answer, but we have time here now. It's just 9:18, we have 12 minutes more. Question number 1. Answer these questions in 1 or 2 sentences each. Question number 1. Where was Abdul Kalam's house? Come on. Who is answering? Where was Abdul Kalam's house?
Sir, can I?
Yes, you can.
Sir, can I?
Abdul Kalam House was located on the Mosque Street in the town of Rameswaram in Tamil Nadu state.
Very good, Ranjini. Then who was interested? One more. One more child was interested. No? Who is he? Okay. Next question, can we proceed with? Question number 2 is, what do you think Dinamani is the name of? Give a reason for your answer. Come on.
Sir, may I? Sir, can I?
Yes, Ghanshyam, please.
Sir, can I?
Ghanshyam, then Pratham, and then Athar.
Dinamani is the name of a newspaper. The reason for my answer is he, writer Abdul Kalam used to search for the headlines of the war.
Very good. Pratham, do you agree? And Athar also? Or do you find some another answer or the same?
Yes, sir, I agree. I agree, sir.
Okay, good. Next question, number 3. Who were Abdul Kalam's school friends? What did they later become? Come on.
Sir, can I?
Yes, sir. You can.
Sir, his three friends were Ramananda Sastri, Arvindan,
Hmm.
and Shiva Prakashan. So the
Good.
Ramananda Sastri became the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple in future, and
Hmm.
Arvinder went into the business of arranging transport, and Shiva
Good.
Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways.
Very good. Anybody, any another answer, or do you all agree with him? I agree. Very good answer. Next question is, how did Abdul Kalam earn his first wages? How did Dr. Kalam earn his first wages? Come on. Anybody? Hurry up.
Sir, can I?
Yogiraj, you can. Gayatri has already answered,
Yes,
but
sir.
Yogiraj, please.
Abdul Kalam earned his first wage by catching the bundle of newspaper thrown out of moving train at the Rameshwaram station.
No, it was not a wage. He was just earning that money when he was just 8 years old.
Can
No,
I?
at the age of 8. Okay, please don't confuse
Sir,
us.
can
Here, the word you need to focus on is wage, W-A-G-E. It was a daily, he could earn 1 anna by selling those tamarind seeds. But wage, Pratham, I think you are interested. Hello, Pratham. Wage word is very important, dear students. That he remembers and says that he is very proud of that wage and his life. He earned it the very first time. I am showing it here. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my money for the first time. And what was it, dear students? This is a sentence. Shamsuddin helped me earn my first wages. And how Shamsuddin helped him? By collecting the tamarind seeds or giving him a job to collect the newspapers thrown out of running trains and delivering or distributing them house to house, door to door. What's the right answer, dear students? Come on, respond quickly.
by giving him job.
Yes. So, what was his way of earning money?
By collecting the newspaper on railway station.
Yes, and distributing it door to door, right? Here it is. Can you see? I am
Yes,
showing
sir.
you. Distributed newspapers. That is the answer. Let's move to the next question. Can anyone read the next question? Yes. The next question is, had he earned any money before that? In what way? Means before earning his first wages, did he ever earn any money before that? If yes, what way? Here is that another part of answer you are telling. Come on, answer. Come on, dear students, answer back quickly. Immediately you should answer. Don't take your time. So simple it is. Hello? Nobody is there? Yogiraj, Sarup, Surbis, Yuvraj, Shreya Patil. श्रेया सोनवणे, शार्दूल, कोळसे पाटील, सायली भोसले, सार्थक, संस्कृती, राजनंदिनी, मधुरा, प्रिशा, प्रणव, पीयूष, पलक, निशांत, मनन, कुशल, कार्तिकेय, घनश्याम, गायत्री. This is Viraj or Athar, Aryan Vakle, Aryan Kataria, Aryan Kande, Akanksha. No answer, or you are not getting me. What's it?
Sir, can I?
Yes, Kushal.
Sir, when the World War II began, there was a great demand of tamarind seeds, and Kalam would collect that seeds and send and sold it to the grocery store near him. And
Yes,
by
very
selling
good.
it, he had a one. He used to earn 1 anna.
Absolutely right. So it was not his first wish. First wish was when he worked with his cousin Samsudin. And before that also he had earned money by selling those tamarind seeds to the nearer provision shop or grocery shop. Right? Next question. Answer each of these questions in a short paragraph, about 30 words. Question number one. How does the author describe his father, his mother, and himself? I think you will find the answer in first paragraph or second and third. Come on. Can anybody explain how Dr. Kalam described his father, his mother, and himself? And also you can tell at a time that what characteristics, that is the second question, does he say inherited from his parents? Come on. Anybody?
Sir, may I?
Yes, dear Rajanandini, you can.
Kalam's inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father,
Okay.
his mother,
Before that, you
and
please tell how he described his father, his mother, and himself. I'm trying to help you highlighting the answer. Huh? You can see on your screen. This is about his father. One part. Can you see? Rajnandini?
yes, sir.
That his father was Zainulabdin. He had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. Now about his mother, Rishi. His mother's name was Rishi, and she was very generous and believed in goodness. Right? Then he described about himself, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. Okay. Then again he described his father that he was austere. He did not like that the essential comforts and luxuries should be provided, but he wanted that the necessities should be provided in terms of his food, medicine, or clothes. Right? So this way he tried to describe himself, his mother, and his father. But he refers to the qualities that he inherited from his parents. They are here. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my mother, and from my mother I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. Can you see here, dear students? I have highlighted in the textbook. Could you notice it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So any more queries? Any more doubts? Yes?
No, sir.
Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Bye, dear
Thank
students.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Here, dear students, there was someone now wanted to say something. Who is he? Hello? Somebody wanted to say something now? Who is he? Okay, I'll try to get and contact, right? None of you know? Hello, dear students. Are you getting me? Am I audible? Anyway, you may contact me later. No? Individually, personally, you can call. Fine. Bye. Yes, dear Arya, you have joined us back. Arya, Sunday. Anyway, bye.